What's going on, everyone? Dennis Sullivan, Sports Snippets here, Monday night, the 9th of December. Here to talk to you a little bit about the Miami Heat. We're going to catch up again with the Heat, get a little bit of an update going, how I see things are progressing through the first 23 games, and perhaps a look into our near future as we head into this week and also, of course, the upcoming weekend. If you, of course, like the content of this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, ring the bell, have a whole bunch of fun. All right, guys, so let's let's get right into this here on this Miami Heat team and where we're at, where we're going. I know there's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of this guy's doing great and that guy's doing great and the team is coming together and we're overcoming this and we're overcoming that. And you know what? I'm usually the first one or one of the first fans to see that and to get real excited about that. And part of me as being a fan of the Miami Heat is right along with that spirit of what a great start it's been. And we did discuss that on the previous Miami Heat video I did last week. However, actually that Miami Heat video, a little bit over a week ago. However, guys, I'm here to tell you there's a little bit of concern, and I'm going to go over this step by step. We're going to go to the snippets board. I got some concerns, not major stuff, but I'm a little bit on the cautious side here. You know, I'm not going to come on here saying we're going to beat this team and we're going to go ahead and beat that team, especially after we saw what happened to us against a few of the top-notch teams in the league. However, Heat now sitting at 17 wins and 6 losses. In a way, I can't believe that. Never would have guessed that would be our record. Let's go over it item by item, guys. We're going to start off with injuries. I got a little bit of a concern here. Let's start with Goran Dragic. He's missed the last 5 games. He has this injury here with it's a groin-related type injury. That can be very tricky. Now, I have some things to talk about here. Guys, I am a huge fan of Goran Dragic. Don't get me wrong. Huge fan. But let's look at the facts here. Okay, let's look at the big picture here for a second, if I can do that. He plays a very active type position. I mean, this is a guard, right? He could play the point. He could play the off guard. We saw him a lot as a starter over the last few years. Point guard position. He's had a tremendous career. Okay, I'm a huge fan of Goran Dragic. However, guys, let's look at as I was mentioning, let's take a look at the big picture. Let's look at the age first. He's 33 years old. Okay, 33 is not in the world of NBA basketball, that is not young. You're no longer a youngster. You're no longer a kid in the league anymore when you're 33. That's just the way it is. Sure, a lot of the great players have played way past 33 very effectively, okay? Your John Stocktons, your Kareems, and yes, your LeBrons. But guess what, guys? There's only so many Kareems, John Stocktons, LeBrons in the history of the league. That's why they're called great players, okay? Dragic's injury is of a concern to me as a fan, okay? Not only based on what I'm seeing as far as him missing the last 5 games, I'm also really looking into, and to give you guys a good idea here, I'm also looking into last year too. He only played 36 games last year. This is a guy that's had a good history of being reliable, playing a lot of games throughout his career. He hasn't missed that many games in his career. But now, what are we seeing? Age is now catching up. Now we're missing time and things of that nature. He's not slowing down on the court. He's still playing really good when he's healthy. The question is, can we count on him staying healthy? Okay, that's the big question. Can we count on him staying healthy? So with Dragic, what have we seen as I follow his progress through this latest groin injury? Out again this game, out again that game. So it's kind of a day-to-day situation, a wait-and-see situation. The other key injury that we have is Justise Winslow. Now, Winslow also has a little bit of a history with injuries. If we go back a few years, his is more related to the lower back. Another tricky situation. He was out for a while. All of a sudden, he missed some games, handful of games, comes back late November, plays 5 games. He's back to his low to mid 30s as far as minutes go. Plenty of minutes for Justise Winslow. Now we have this latest injury. So this is something that the Heat are just going to have to fight through and battle through. I will say this, we're going to need both players as we head down the stretch. We're not heading down the stretch yet. We're only 23 games in. But as we head down the stretch of this season, especially as we head into the playoffs, assuming this team will make the playoffs at 17-6 to start the year, you're going to need both guys. And I'm telling you right now, I'm a little bit more confident, if not much more confident, in the availability of Winslow versus Dragic. I'm actually concerned as a fan about the health of Goran Dragic. Of course, seeing him on the court is very productive. We got to have him in there. We got to get him back healthy. If it means missing a bunch of games in the regular season, we got to have him, though, come the end of the regular season into the playoffs, most importantly. We got to have him. All right, next up, recent road trip. Let's go back. Now we're going back to last week, a couple days ago. We had those 3 games at the Nets, then it was at Toronto, at Boston. Heat come out 2-1 of those 3 games with narrow victories at the Nets, at Brooklyn against the Nets, at Toronto in overtime, and then we lose to the Celtics by, I think it was 19 points. So we get kind of blown out in that 3rd game. I would give us, if I had to grade us as far as a letter grade on those 3 games, as far as a road trip, I'm giving us a solid B. I mean, you come out with 2 out of 3 games that you win against tough Eastern Conference opponents that definitely want to knock you out, or not so much knock you out. We're not going to go home for the season or anything, but they want to set us back, that's for sure. And for us to go 2-1 on that road trip, I thought was very impressive. What I did see a little bit of, and this gets into a little bit more of a concern, I sensed a little bit of complacency coming back home. Now, as we sit here this evening, Monday night, the 9th of December, we come back with 2 home wins against teams that haven't played that great this year. First game, Friday night against the Wizards, that was the most concerning of the 2. We do pull out a victory by, I believe it was like 8 or 9, I believe it was by 9 points. But here's my concern. I mean, not only are we down 4 at the half, but we let up 65 points. What in the world? I know scoring's up in the NBA. I know the Wizards are one of the highest scoring teams. If not, I think going into that game, they were the highest scoring team, according to what I heard on the broadcast. I believe that's what, at least in the Eastern Conference. So, yeah, we're going to allow points to the Wizards, but come on, you're down 4, allowing 65 points. This is not that great of a team, and that was a little disappointing. Heat battle back, hang in there, and pull out the victory. And then Sunday night, last night, an overtime win against the Bulls. The Bulls played very well. Bulls went into that game. You would think it was a playoff game. A lot of credit there. They were very aggressive. They hustled. They played solid basketball. We were fortunate to pull that victory out, to pull that game out. Okay? I'm going to get into a little bit more of what I saw these last 2 home games and a little bit on that road trip in just a moment. Before I do, let's lighten things up a little bit here. We're going to go to point number 3, and I put Jimmy W. So this is my own little ad as far as, it's not an official nickname I'm giving him, but Jimmy Butler definitely backing it up as far as him trying to, he's not just talking the talk, he's walking the walk with his leadership on the court and trying to do what he can to help his team win. Heard him talking about that very topic a few games ago, and he was saying, however I can help my team win. I saw that very clearly Sunday night, and I saw a guy that was struggling a little bit from the field, and on at least 2 occasions, I think it was more like at least 3, but at least twice, he would drive into the basket and he would do that kick out to the hot player of the Heat last night, who was definitely Herro, Tyler Herro, who was on fire from downtown hitting those 3-pointers. And he was finding the open man, and he was finding the guy that had the hot hand. And of course, on Sunday night, that was Tyler Herro. So he's doing, what he can to help the team win. Yeah, sometimes you see Butler go out there and he's scoring in the high 20s, and he's even hitting the 30s. But that's not every game. And I saw a guy that probably said to himself, you know what, my shots aren't falling. Let's help the team in other ways. He would drive to the basket. He was looking for teammates. Great to see, guys. Great to see. 9-man effort, point number 4. We saw it against, I believe it was the Toronto game. We only played 9. Playing 9 guys isn't the worst thing in the world, everyone. But, let's look at it again. No Dragic off the bench. No Winslow. Okay? This has been now for a couple of games. Winslow's missed the last 2. Winslow did play in the Toronto game, but then Silva was out or didn't play. I'm not exactly sure of the status or why Silva didn't get in that game. But we went with a 9-man rotation, and the last 2 home games we went with a 9-man rotation, with Olynyk, Herro, Chris Silva, and Derek Jones Jr. coming off the bench. Nothing wrong with those 4 guys coming off the bench. But I would like to see some more games where I understand we're a little bit shorthanded here with the injuries, but we had, I think it was 3 guys. I know it was an overtime game last night, but we had like 3 guys with 40 or more minutes. That's a lot of minutes. So we're going to have to do something here. I'm looking around some of the other rosters, just kind of on some free time this afternoon, checking out some other box scores. Let's see how many players this team's playing. That team's playing. The average seems to be about 10 guys. A few teams have gone a little bit higher, maybe in blowout games. Some teams have recently played 9, but for the most part, in my humble opinion, you want to get a 10-guy rotation, even if that 10th man plays 10 or 12 minutes or whatever. So we've been kind of stretching out the minutes. And am I overly concerned? I'm temporarily concerned, that's for sure. We may need to look for another solid role player, perhaps an inside scoring threat. Okay, these are all things to consider for the Miami Heat, or an inside player, give us 8.7 rebounds off the bench, something like that. Looking ahead, guys, we have coming up on Tuesday, we host the Atlanta Hawks. And on Friday, we host the Los Angeles Lakers. So next 2 games are home as we finish out this homestand, 4-game homestand, home against the Hawks. And then on Friday night, that'll be a big game, probably, I'm guessing, a nationally televised game against the Los Angeles Lakers. And we know that's going to be a tough one, no doubt. And not only that, play the Lakers Friday night at home. Then Saturday night, we go on the road to play the much improved Dallas Mavericks. So not an easy Tuesday through Saturday coming up. It's 3 games in 5 days. Of course, the first 2 are going to be home. Then we go back on the road at Dallas Saturday night. So we'll see how that goes. I was thinking perhaps the Heat were not 100% on the availability of Justise Winslow or the health, the current health status in playing minutes and playing in these games, because I did notice Duncan Robinson remained in the starting lineup upon his return. So the lineup we're going with now, with the injuries, of course, Jimmy Butler, and we have, of course, Kendrick Nunn in the backcourt, Bam Adebayo, and Myers Leonard. And of course, Duncan Robinson, who I have no problem if the Heat want to start Duncan Robinson. I like him as a player. I think he's perfectly fine. I'm perfectly fine with the fact of the Heat starting Duncan Robinson. But we're going to need a healthy Winslow, and we're going to need a healthy 30 to 35-minute Winslow. I'll take 30 minutes Winslow. And then down the stretch, I mean, guys, I'll say this again. If we want to just sit him out and play it cautious with Dragic, I'm all for it. But we're going to need Dragic later in the year, no doubt. No doubt we're going to need him. He's a big part of this team still. He's very effective still. He's just getting a little bit older. Who was it that said, you can never defeat Father Time? Comment below if you can tell me who that was. You can't beat Father Time. You can't defeat Father Time. So this is Dennis Sullivan, once again, Sports Snippets. And I do appreciate you guys watching this particular program. I'm going to also focus in a little bit more on the Heat now. You know, we got football starting to come to a close. Dolphins aren't going to be in the playoffs. We already know that. We've known that for months. We've known that for a long time. But the Heat are very, very interesting team this year. I'm real happy with our start. However, I will conclude this video by saying there are some concerns now for the first time. Concerns are starting to creep in on this particular fan here, this guy. And I wouldn't mind us seeing us perhaps, who knows, sometime before the trade deadline, of course, maybe we can land an extra guy. And you can also comment below what type of player you think we need. I'm guessing we could definitely use a little bit more scoring punch down low, a little bit more of that type of contribution. And I was surprised. I forgot all about the fact Myers Leonard was not only first round pick in 2012, he was the 11th pick overall in the draft out of Illinois. I did not know that, guys. I mean, I knew he was drafted. I didn't realize he was 11th overall. But he's a hard-nosed player. You know, plays some good defense. He's a good rebounder. He doesn't. You notice in a lot of these games though, he starts. He doesn't get many minutes though. He's the first guy out though as we go to the bench. So thanks again, everyone, for watching this video. I will see you very soon. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Ring that bell if you wish. Comment below, and we'll talk to you soon. Until next time. Bye-bye.